Oh my gosh. Okay. And hey, good to see you. What is cracking? What is cooking? Good looking. It's good to see you. Happy Tuesday, March 19th. We've got some cool stuff we're going to cover today. The real estate market is a little interesting. Real estate agents are taking a big hit. They don't like that. And if they want to survive and prosper, they're going to have to do some things that are different, which I recommend them doing. You always got to pivot. The marketplace decided that it's too expensive to buy real estate. In addition to that, we're going to look at some politicians' trades, some stock trading. And if you want to beat the S&P 500, if you want to do traditional retirement planning, the only way to really do it is to be a politician. Red team, blue team, they're all guilty. Let's look at that right now and get into some of this. So number one, let's check this out. We've got right here, check this out. The Pentagon ended its plan to spend $2.5 billion on a chip grant to Intel. Intel is a chip manufacturer. They make things that make computers go woo. And on March 12th, 2024, the Pentagon said, hey, never mind. We're not going to spend $2.5 billion on a chip grant to you. And before this was decided, politicians Blumenthal, Tuberville, and McCall sold their stocks in Intel so they wouldn't lose any money. That seems a little suspicious, don't you think? Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. So they sold their stock before this was announced from the Pentagon. And Tommy Tuberville is actually a really good investor. He's made a lot of money being a politician. Before then, he was not a good investor. It's weird. Before he started before his job as a politician, he didn't make any money. He was not very good at trading stocks. But now that he's a politician, he's really great at trading stocks. I'm going to share this with you. See if I can throw this on the screen real quick. Let's see if I can grab this, and so everybody on YouTube can see this. And bing, 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 bing. We're going to put this up on the board. This is from Unusual Whales. Check this out. So this is on the screen right now. Unusual Whales, by the way, on Instagram, on Netflix, I don't know, they're everywhere. They do an incredible job of tracking politicians and political trades. And this thing that you can see right here on the screen is the returns calculated of politicians, Congress members, and how they've beat the S&P 500. Now, the S&P 500 index in 2023 did 24.8%. That was their return, which was really incredible. That's a really good return to do in a stock market, 24%. I mean, that's amazing. However, on this chart, we're going to count them right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. 32, if I counted correctly, 32 politicians, red team and blue team, doesn't matter, don't get your panties in a wad. 32 politicians beat the S&P 500, and the S&P 500 had a record year, 24.8% return for the S&P 500. Let me know. Let's vote in the comments. Who do you think was the number one trader? Do you think it was a Democrat? Type D in the comments. Do you think it was a Republican? Type R. Who do you think was the number one stock trader of 2023 beating the S&P 500? Their return was a record 238% return on the stocks that they traded. Do you think it was a Republican or do you think it was a Democrat? R for Republican, D for Democrat. And by the way, they both don't care about you. So don't argue with me about get your vote in and then get out. I don't care who you vote for. You don't care who I voted for. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Who do you think was one? Republican or Democrat? 238%. 238% return. The S&P 500 did 24.8. That's almost 10 times. Dude, crazy. Second place politician did 122%, by the way. What do you think, Republican or Democrat? What do you think? It doesn't matter. Here we go. Good. Here we go. Check this out. Brian Higgins is a Democrat, and he did a 238.9% return in 2023. What? Now, it's not Democrats are bad, Republicans are bad. You can believe whatever you want to believe. It's that politicians have insiders' information, and they're not punished for using that insiders' information to make money. What? So the answer was a Democrat, but number two was a Republican, 122% return. So it doesn't matter. Like, they're all, it's crazy. Is that wild? It's just great. So it's wild to me to get these numbers. Garrett Graves, 107% return. David Roser, 105% return. Seth, then we got 80%, 78%, 69%. Nice. 68%, 66%, 63% returns. Return on investment. That's their rate of return they're earning in their portfolio trading stocks as politicians. Remember, the S&P 500 did 24.8%. That's crazy. So what is the conclusion here? The conclusion is if you want to make a lot of money trading stocks, you need to be a politician. That's the conclusion here. Isn't that crazy? This is actual numbers. It's wild to me. So you got to be, I think I'm getting comments over here. How do I see my comments? Mark, I see you, Republican. Yeah. You would think they get a lot of heat for trading, but they're both doing it. Everybody's guilty. Everybody's guilty in this game. So this is not a surprise. How do I stop sharing that? Bam. Okay. So what we were talking about is that the Pentagon recently, last 7 days, the Pentagon ended a contract. It's planned to have a $2.5 billion grant for Intel, the chip manufacturer. They announced that on March 12th. Before that announcement, politicians Blumenthal, Tuberville, and McCall sold their stocks, so they didn't lose any money. They profited on the transaction, and they got out before that was announced. That's a clear indication of insider trading. Will anything happen? Nope. Nothing will happen. More companies, so let's get into number 2, more companies have defaulted on their debt in 2024 than any start of the year since the global financial crisis. So I'm going to read some stats to you right now. And, we have to subscribe to this newsletter. Oh, well, how about this? What is it? Let's try this. Let's try this right here. You ready? Here we go. Bam. And bam. That didn't work. Let's come over here and hit him with that. Bam. Okay, so politicians spent... Oh, no. Here we go. So this is the quote from this article. More companies have defaulted on their debt in 2024 than any start of the year since the global financial crisis, which is crazy. Are you on YouTube also now? Insider trading, Jody, isn't that crazy? Absolutely. And it's red team, blue team, they all suck. Can we agree with that? Can we all agree? If you all agree on that, type A in the comments for agree. Red team, blue team, they all suck. Get your vote in. Vote for the least sucky. Get your vote in and then get back in here. I love you no matter who you vote for. That's your right as an American or Canadian. Jody, I see you. And, we just crazy. Agree. It's crazy. Yeah. So check this out. This is an article that just came out from the Financial Times. And yes, if you're over here on the Tickus Talkus, I'm on YouTube live right now. If you want to hang out with us live, there's a YouTube link in my profile. Just go tap on there. But let's get back into this. It says more companies have defaulted on their debt in 2024 than any start of the year since the global financial crisis. Subdued, here's from the article of the Financial Times, subdued consumer demand, rising wages, and high interest rates, which hurt more indebted companies. So these are companies that have debt. It hurts them more. They're more impacted by these higher interest rates, had all contributed to the increase in the number of companies struggling to repay their debt. So lower consumer demand, people are buying less stuff, see less crap, number one. Number two, rising wages. The greatest expense for most companies is payroll, or it's their rent, payroll or rent. So rising wages, that's number two. And number three, the trifecta, high interest rates have made it very difficult for these companies with debt to pay. And so they all contributed to this increase in numbers of companies struggling to repay their debt. Here's a quote. What's going on is exactly what's been going on since the Federal Reserve began to raise interest rates in March 2022. Chief economist at an investment group, Apollo. Default rates are rising because higher interest rates continue to bite harder and harder on highly levered companies. So these companies have debts that are being affected negatively, hurting them with high interest rates. This is happening all over the place. Anytime you have to understand, remember, how does money work? Money inside of an economy needs to move. It's like your body. You got to have blood pumping through your system in order for you to have a healthy body. I'm no doctor. I'm no nurse. If we got nurse in the comments, let me know. Is this true? If the blood stops flowing through the body, you ain't got much time. If you're a nurse, let me know. Is that true? Type yes. If it's not true, type no. If the blood in the body stops moving, we better start performing some compressions. We got to get the blood flowing. If the blood doesn't flow, things shut down. Same thing in an economy. Money has to move. That's how a healthy economy operates. So when interest rates rise, it's difficult for money to move. When interest rates rise and these companies are getting pressed from this angle, and then the higher wages are pressing them from this other level. Oh, by the way, the people who were buying your stuff are settling down and not buying as much stuff. You're getting hit from three different angles as a company. Therefore, the last thing you want to do with your money is pay debt. You're like, man, I got to survive. I got to pay my bills. I got payroll to meet. I got to feed my family. I got to feed all these other families counting on me as a company. I'm going to stop paying my debt, which makes sense. As a business owner, that's the right decision when things like that are happening, when you're hitting with all these different winds. So what that means is More companies have defaulted on their debt in 2024 than any start of the year since the global financial crisis. And the stats are in 2008, 2009, 36 companies, these like companies that they're describing, they put them into this parameter. 36 of these big companies have defaulted in 2008, 2009, the global financial crisis back in the day, the big one. In 2024, there's 28 companies right now. 28. This is the fastest we've seen this rate, and it's not looking pretty. So this is cause for concern, and there needs to be some adjustments made. But that's a huge issue. That's a huge issue. And we got to pay attention for that, and how it's going to affect many other things. It's going to affect a couple of other things we're going to get into right now. But I want to talk about this. This is one of the most exciting things I wanted to talk about. There's been a lot of noise on this one. How many of you have seen the real estate agent changes? The real estate, the realtors got hit with a settlement. You can't pay, the sellers don't have to pay buyer's fees anymore. This is going to be a big hit. We're going to read some of this. I'm on NBC News right now. What the National Association of Realtors settlement means for consumers and real estate brokers. So what happened is people got upset about real estate agents getting paid so much money. And real estate agents have always been under fire about the value that they provide to the marketplace. There's always been a question mark, at least in a certain segment of the population, about the value that real estate agents bring to the marketplace. And real estate agents are like any other profession in that doctors are awesome, nurses are awesome, but not all of them are awesome. There's a small percentage of them that are like, just showing up and, they don't care anymore. They burnt out. There's all, teachers are awesome, but there's a small percentage of them that are like knuckleheads and they're like drinking on the job, like crazy stuff, right? Same thing with real estate agents. There's a small percentage of them that are terrible. There's a small percentage of them that are awesome. And then most of them are mediocre. That's statistics. That's stats. There's a lot of athletes that graduate high school every year. The small percentage of them are really terrible and they ride the bench. Yours truly included. Hey, I was on the team though, mind your business. Then there's a very small percentage that get scholarship offers and go to play Division I level, Division II or whatever they call it now, level football. Then there's most of the other ones that are mediocre. They played high school. They don't do anything after that. That's statistics and statistics. That's how it works. Okay. So the real estate agents have always been under fire. There are the few, and I do agree. I love me a good real estate agent. However, if you can't prove your value to the marketplace, it's going to be very tough. That's two principles if you want to grow your income. Number one, you got to provide great value. Number two, you got to be able to demonstrate that value to the people with the money willing to pay. If you can't demonstrate the value, you're going to be under fire like this. The agents that are not worried about demonstrating their value to the marketplace aren't flinching. Those that are like, oh, crap. Oh, yeah, you should be concerned. Now we need to pivot. So let's read what's going on. A groundbreaking $418 million settlement announced Friday by the powerful National Association of Realtors is set to usher in the most sweeping reforms of American real estate market has seen in a century. 100 years? Wow, what happened 100 years ago? It could dramatically drive down home buyers' cost. How many of you are down for that? If you're going to buy a home, how many of you want to pay less money? Type 1 in the comments for yes, type 2 for no. It would dramatically drive down home buyer cost and push some real estate brokers out of business. Now, we don't like that. We don't want anybody to go out of business. So you have to adapt. Here's a look at what's going on. So NAR lost a really big case. For decades, the NAR, the National Association of Realtors, has required home sale listing broker, so the person selling the home, to provide an offer of compensation to a buyer's agent up front. That usually comes out to about 6% split between the seller and the buyer. But that model has come under intensifying scrutiny from critics who have likened it to a cartel. Late last year, a jury in Kansas City federal court found the long-standing practice to be a form of collusion that artificially inflated real estate fees, awarding a massive, here we go, hear me on this, you ready? Type this in the comments, $1.78 billion. $1.78 billion judgment against the National Association of Realtors, meaning they got to pay that judgment. What changes now for home buyers and sellers? If this settlement announced Friday is approved by a federal court, the standard 6% commission, goes away. Sellers would no longer have to make a compensation proposal to prospective buyers and their agents. So the seller, whoever's selling the house, doesn't have to pay that buyer's agent fee. Critics have said they encourage brokers to push their clients toward more expensive properties. Another new rule would see home buyers having to sign an explicit deal with a broker before they start working with one. Something experts say would lead many home buyers to forego using brokers entirely. The new rules would kick in within months of approval, so probably about July. And so there's a lot of uncertainty about what's going on, what's going to happen. But it's predicted, here we go, the new rules, quote, should lead to commissions falling 25 to 50%, which we view as a benefiting online real estate brokers. So let's get into this a little bit. Real estate agents have constantly been under fire about the value that they bring to the marketplace. We talked about that already. There's this online attack. Google, I think it was something. Google has a company. And I can't remember the name of it, but it's a real estate brokerage. Google wanted to penetrate the market and take over market share from these real estate agents. And they've had mixed results on that. Then there's Redfin, there's Zillow, there's all of these players trying to play this online game. This is that door that they've been waiting for. So this is the opportunity that these online companies are going to strike. They've been preparing. They've been building out their systems, their business. They've been making tons of money, doing really well. Some of them are profitable. Some of them are not profitable. This window, boom, it's done. Real estate agents have to do something different. They've got to pivot. They've got to provide value. It's not going to be the same that it used to be. If you're a real estate agent, things have changed dramatically. It's the same thing. This is very similar to what you're seeing in the car buying industry. And car dealerships are under attack. How many of you have been to a car dealership and it's a terrible experience? Type T in the comments. And the only people that go, no, it's fine, are car salesmen. And the entire process of buying a car sucks. You go in there, you give them your keys, their value your trade in. Oh yeah, we lost your car. You got to wait here 17 hours. Oh God. Like that entire process is to wear you down. So you go, whatever, I'll sign the paperwork. And then you pay thousands of dollars more than you should for a car. That's by design. We'll debate. I'm not going to debate it. That's the fact. But we'll talk about that another time. But it mirrors the car buying experience like to the T of what the disruption that's happening in the real estate market, in the real estate industry. The exact same thing is going to happen to the car industry. You've got Carvana. You've got, what are the other car companies? There's CarMax. CarMax has their own unique spin on it. They're like dealership hybrid, kind of representing the people model, but not really, but that's their marketing slang. Then there's got Carvana. What are the other car companies that you can buy online? You can order it on the website and they ship it to your house. There's like 4 or 5 of them now. There's a lot of them. And they're having mixed results, same kind of thing, but they're getting ready to like disrupt this big thing. The only thing the car dealership is hanging on to is the lobbying of the government. And we talked about the government. The government sucks. But so they're only hanging on to the lobbying. Tesla's been Tesla's another company trying to like combat the car dealership going direct to consumer. I bought a Tesla that way because it was awesome. I had a terrible car buying experience. And I was like, screw you. I'm not going to give you my money. I went home on my phone. I did Apple Pay and I bought a Tesla on my phone. What? Then it was delivered to my house. What? It was awesome. It was awesome. Like I'm down. It was so easy. Why can't we have that experience for every car? Similar tendencies with what you're seeing with the real estate market. These real estate agents are under attack. And they've been under attack for years. There's going to be a shift. There's going to be a pivot. They're trying to get rid of that middleman. And so here we go. Continuing on, the new rules should lead to commissions falling 25 to 50%. Buyer-seller negotiations will become more complex, and buyers with plenty of cash might navigate, this is a quote, might navigate the process more easily than buyers who do not have a lot of savings. We're going to go to the comments on YouTube here in just a second. So if you got anything you want to say, let me know in the comments. Seberg flagged a similar concern for his note, saying it could particularly affect first-time buyers with limited means for paying an agent. So we're going to go to the comments on YouTube. If I missed anything, let me know. And 1.78 billion. Veronica, good to see you. Terrible for sure. The only time it was okay, I had already gotten a check from my personal bank to go into the car dealership to buy the car. Absolutely. The car buying experience is by design to suck for the person buying the car. They want to wear you down. Think about it. In a sales environment, in a buying environment, you want to control the environment as much as you can. If you're not in my office with the door closed, locked, chained, bolted, you can't get out and escape, well, then I'm going to lose money in that transaction. So if I'm trying to sell you, I'm going to one of one. It's me versus you. So anyway, it's not for debate, but it sucks. So there's a pivot coming. Let's go into this. So what they said, Vroom, Tesla, CarMax, Carvana, Gotham Dark Knight. Good to see you. Yeah, it's a terrible experience. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I've seen a lot of this conversation. I've seen a lot of this on TikTok. A lot of these real estate agents fighting for air, talking about, well, good luck negotiating your house. Good luck. Well, you don't need to resort to that kind of language in your marketing. Just prove that you can negotiate good prices. Tell me case study stories about how you've helped negotiate good deals. How a home buyer in this situation wouldn't have the expertise, or teach us how to negotiate. And then, let me give you an example. If in your marketing as a real estate agent, you start teaching how you negotiate deals, hey, look out for these things. Hey, look out for those things. And you start sharing that with the world. You're not going to, let's say you're in Texas. You're not selling homes in New York or Alaska or Florida or California. You're in Texas. So what does it hurt you to share the insider secrets of how to negotiate a good home buying deal? Hey, why would you not step up and be that real estate agent? Hey, listen, they just changed the law attacking real estate agents. As a real estate agent for 15, 20 years, I'm going to teach you how you can negotiate your home in 3 steps. What? Dude, I'm watching that video. Why would you not penetrate the market and be that guy? Then the people that go, hey, you obviously are an expert in this. I don't want to negotiate at all. I ain't got time for that. I'm too lazy. I don't want to do it. You're the expert. Why would I try to be better than you? So can I hire you to negotiate for me? Maybe that's the angle you should go for, instead of what we're hearing in the marketplace. And I can predict your bank account based on the words that you use, because the words that you use tell me the thoughts that you think. And the thoughts that you think, if they're not wealth-building thoughts, are poverty-building thoughts. So if you use language like, oh no, I'm under attack, and then you try to attack back and say, and there's the satire. These real estate agents have this satirical where they're like, oh yeah, good luck negotiating your, and it's really sarcastic. And saying that, home buyers are not going to be able to get the best deal possible without them to be there. And I'm like, man, it's not the right angle. It's not the right way to go about it. The way that you want to go about it is providing value. Always lean towards giving value so people can't dispute the value that you provide. Like, man, well, he's actually providing a lot of value. And showing your expertise, flexing that expert muscle. If you've got the expertise, show it. If you don't have the expertise, then be sad. You know what I mean? So you've got to pivot. You've got to make an adjustment. And then do I think it's going to be negatively affected? Do I think buyers are going to get hurt in this process? No, I think it's going to be different. There's going to be a different change. And I think that the marketplace demands are going to benefit the consumer, the buyer of real estate. If I can pull comps in my area, one of the basic things that I can do is I can look at, hey, what if things sold in this area? And then I can make an offer based on the comps in the area. And then you know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of things that are naturally, there is some expertise in real estate. I'm not saying that. I got me some real estate agent friends. I work with real estate agents. I love them. But a lot of it can be done by the consumer. And I think you should be teaching them. That's what I think you should do. Pivot into education, spinoff company, and do that. Real estate agents are educators. Amen. Gotham Dark Knight. I love it. Veronica says, I've bought and sold. Hold on. Let me. How do I add to broadcast? Dude, look at this. Baby, we are learning YouTube as we go. Veronica says, I've bought and sold over 5 homes and didn't have a good experience with any of real estate agents from a buyer or seller perspective. And they were all recommended to me. Yes. So it makes you question the people who recommended them to you. You get a friend that recommends you a restaurant and the restaurant's terrible. And maybe this isn't my friend. I'm not saying that. But you're right. It really is. It really can depend on that. Predict my bank account, daddy. Oh my gosh. Well, give me some of your beliefs. Give me some of your beliefs and I can predict your bank account within $1,000. Give me some of your beliefs about money because thoughts lead to feelings. Feelings lead to actions. Actions lead to results. So I'm just going to reverse engineer to find your results. But remember who called who daddy. Good morning, sunshine. Good morning. Sue Hale from Ohio checking in. Good to see you, Sue. Sellers will get more back out of an asset. Exactly. In our passive income club, Heath, the other day, 2 days ago, was like, hey man, I just sold a property. The agent got $11,000 out of the transaction and they did nothing more than list it on MLS. That's wild. And a lot of people feel that way. So as a real estate agent, you can't complain about it. The marketplace is telling you. You can't push back. The marketplace is bigger than you, in case you didn't know. Marketplace is huge, and the marketplace votes with its dollars. So if you're not happy with what the marketplace is telling you, you have to do something different. Remember, in marketing, it's media, message, market. When those 3 things match, then you can win. But if the marketplace is telling you they don't like your media, they don't like what you're saying, they don't like what you're doing, you got to change your messaging. You got to pivot. You got to adjust. That's the game. Media, message, market, match. When those things match, you're ready to rock and roll. Yeah, look at this. So Vroom, Tesla, CarMax, Carvana. Yep, those are the cars that we talked about, which is crazy. So, but before we get out of here, let me show you one more thing. I just want to revisit this because this is so wild. And in case you're just tuning in to our live show, this is on the screen. On the screen. If you can't see this on the screen, if you're listening to this audio, I'm going to try to describe it to you. But this is wild. What you're seeing on the screen is from Unusual Whales. They've got an incredible social media presence, and they're awesome. Unusual Whales goes behind the scenes to tell you what politicians are doing with their money and trading and beating the stock market. You ready? So if you were here earlier and you heard the answer, I don't want you to spoil it, okay? But who do you think, if you're tuning in anywhere, wherever you're at, hey, good to see you. If you're tuning in wherever you're at, let me know in the comments. Who do you think beat the S&P 500? Was it a Republican, type R, or was it a Democrat, type D? For 2023, do you think a Republican beat the stock market with their their stock trades? Was it a Republican, type R? Was it Democrat, type D? Let me know in the comments wherever you're tuning in from. Who do you think beat the market? Now, the market, we're tracking, the S&P 500 did 24.8%. That's an incredible return for the stock market, 24.8% in 2023. Well, the winner that beat the S&P 500. Good morning from Kansas. What's up, Shar? Good to see you. We're on YouTube right now. If you want to hang out with us on YouTube, there's a link in my bio. So the politician that beat the S&P 500, S&P 500 did 24.8%. A politician did 238%. Yeah, but so somebody, Andres, says B for both. You're right. Republicans and Democrats both suck. Oh, that's what you meant? That's what I meant. But they both beat it. But who's number one? It has to be one. There's only one number one. Is it a Republican or is it a Democrat? They both suck. We can probably agree on that. But who's the number one? Who's the king politician of stock trading? Is it a Republican or is it a Democrat? Their reward was 238.9%. That's the return that they got on trading stocks as a politician. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. I'll pull next time we do a podcast on this. I would pull historics. We'll do like year after year after year. That's crazy. That's like a world champion stock trader. 238%. The S&P 500 did 24.8%. Crazy, right? All right. So here we go. Is it a Republican? Is it a Democrat that wins? King Kong ain't got nothing on me. It was a Democrat with 238%. That doesn't mean anything. That means nothing. They all suck. The number two was a Republican at 122%. So I think why? Okay, let's talk through this real quick. Why don't they talk about this at the debates? They should flex this muscle. Yeah, Democrats crushed the Republicans in beating the stock market. Stock market did 24%. Democrats did 238. Republicans are yeah, but the next three in line, Republican, 122% return from the stock market, 107% return from the stock market, 105% return. Oh yeah? You got first place, but Republicans rounded out the top four. We got 3 of the first 4 places. What? That's great. Why don't they talk about that? Why don't we talk about that? That would be amazing. How many of you would watch that debate? Well, how did you trade stocks? Well, I got an insider secret. I got an insider. What does the secret sound like? Let me show you with this. It's crazy, right? It's kind of illegal. It's not kind of illegal. It's definitely illegal. However, you can do illegal things as a politician and you're fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. You're a politician. It's fine. What? What's crazy, right? Crazy? Crazy. Okay, so check this out. And then, yeah, it's crazy. I would watch it for sure. So let me read this to you. We talked about this earlier. So on March 12th, 7 days ago, the Pentagon ended its plan to spend $2.5 billion on a chip grant to Intel. So they announced it on March 12th. Hey, we're not going to spend the $2.5 billion on this grant. Intel, sorry, changing their mind. $2.5 billion, it's not yours anymore. Before that was announced, there were 3 politicians, Blumenthal, Tuberville, and McCall, all sold their stocks. So they didn't lose any money. And they didn't. They didn't lose a dime because they sold before the announcement. After the announcement, Intel stock price didn't do as good. So naturally suspicious. Everybody say sus. That's suspicious. I'm in the wrong business, Sue. Yeah, you got to be a politician. Everybody, how many of you want Sue Hale to run for office? Congresswoman Sue Hale out of Ohio. We need you to represent us as the people. But likely what's going to happen, Sue Hale, we'll still love you. But once you get into office, the power brokers that be, you're going to start trading stocks. You're going to be rich. You're going to be really rich. You have no soul. You have a soul now. You have to give up your soul as a politician, but you could be really rich. Sue Hale can't do it. She's like, I'm not doing that. I'm a good person. I can't do that. The sus debates. So isn't that crazy? So March 12th, they announced we're not going to spend $2.5 billion with Intel. Then those three politicians before then sold their stocks. They didn't lose a dime. Repeats over and over and over again. I bet we could probably do that update. We could do like a political stock trading update once a week. Easy. And give you like, hey, here's behind the scenes of what politician did what and how they saved or made millions of dollars. Crazy. Yeah, sus debates. All those politicians get a pink shirt. For sure. So what did we recap today? Let's kind of recap. There's a lot of different things going on right now. The Pentagon ended its plan to spend $2.5 billion. We just talked about that. There are more companies that have defaulted on their debt in 2024 at a faster rate than any time. But more companies have defaulted on their debt in 2024 than any start of the year since 2008. And what we talked about is 2008, 2009. So there's three things going on right now for companies that companies are facing, and the reason they're defaulting on their loans. Number one is consumer demand is down. People aren't spending money. People, they call us consumers. I've never liked that word, like consumer, like how dare you? Investor. I identify as a money man. I identify as cash flow. My pronouns are profit and ability, profitability, not consumer. How dare you? You better get my pronouns right. But there's three things. Number one, subdued, what they call consumer demand. People are spending less money. Number two, the cost of wages are going up. The number one expense for most businesses is payroll. So number one, consumers are buying less stuff. That's less income to the business. Number two, wages are going up. That's more expense to the business. And number three, the debt, because interest rates are rising, the debt is becoming more expensive for these companies. So because of those three things, there's less money coming in, there's more money going out, and the interest rates are rising, which is also more money going out. They're freaking out. They're going, oh my gosh, freaking out. So the companies they're defaulting on their debt. They're going, listen, I got to pay payroll. I got to feed these families. I got to feed my own family. Therefore, I'm not paying my debt. Debt, first thing I'm not paying. We'll figure this out later. There's always bankruptcy, right? Like they're going to, like, it's just this the thought process. I got to feed my kids, man. I can't pay the debt right now. So it's the more in 2024 than any start of the year since the global financial crisis. What was that number? In 2008, 2009, 36 of these big companies defaulted on their debt. 2008, 2009. In 2024, right now, 28. So we're off by 8 companies, which is crazy. So 36 companies defaulted on their debt in 2008, 2009. In 2024, 28 already out of the gate. So what this means, we got a quote in here. What is going on is exactly what's been going on since the Federal Reserve began to raise interest rates in March 2022. Chief economist of Apollo. Quote, default rates are rising because higher interest rates continue to bite harder and harder on highly levered companies. So that's what's going to happen. I mean, that's what you're seeing happen. One of the lessons learned out of this situation that you can implement right now is you don't want to be too over leveraged. You don't have too much debt. And I've seen a lot of people do this. You know, the general 20% down rule is awesome. The only time, like if you're going to buy real estate, for example, we talk about doing 20 to 40% when we buy self-storage because there's way more cushion in case income goes down, in case expenses go up. A lot of my percentage of the revenue that I'm receiving doesn't go to pay the debt. I want to reduce that number. I don't like being debt-free. I like debt. Debt allows me to buy more cash flow, more profit. That's the name of the game. I don't mind getting into, say, hypothetically, $2,000 of debt if it's going to buy me $4,000 in income. I'm fine with that. But I don't want to get into a ton of debt just to be in debt. I want to buy profit first. So you're seeing a lot of companies that are too much debt or too much of their income is going to service that debt. That's a risk. That is a very bad place to be. You don't want to be in that situation. And that's what's going on right now, especially in high interest rate environments. And then you get hit with a double whammy of higher wages, like to retain your people, you got to pay them more money. And then number two, customers are buying less of your stuff. That's not good. So what you really need to lean into is your marketing. You got to lean into your marketing. Marketing is one of the first things companies cut, which is wild to me. Like when money gets tight, marketing's like, hey, we got to dial back a little bit. I'm like, marketing is how you bring in the money. Like getting your message out there to the marketplace so the market goes, hey, yeah, we want some of that. Can you tell me more? And then they come and buy it. Dude, don't cut back on that. You may have to get more efficient with the money. So anyway, there's all that. Here we go. Veronica says average stock market return is about 10% per year for the last century. So comparing to that to even the lowest percent return politician to see how corrupt they are. Oh, let's do that. Let's look at this. Okay, so we're going to put this quote over there, and then we're going to throw this up on the screen and take a look at this. Okay, so the average stock market return is about 10% since the last 100 years. Look at this. Everybody on this chart that we have. So right now, the chart that we see is Congress versus the S&P 500 in 2023. Everybody on this chart, what is this? The top 30, top 40? I don't know what it is. Michael McCall is the bottom. He's did 11% last year. 2023, he beat the historical average of the last 100 years, what Veronica's saying. That's crazy. That's crazy, dude. I mean, he lost to the S&P 500. He only did 24%. Come on, dude. Pick those numbers up, man. We need you in the 40, 50s. Come on, man. Come on. It's crazy. Crazy, but you're absolutely right. That is wild. Let's look at thoughts on 15,000 Amazon houses. Are they going to change the industry? I haven't heard about this. What are the 15,000 Amazon houses? I don't know. I'll look into that today, and our next show, our next podcast, we'll look into this. I'm not familiar with the 15,000 Amazon houses, but I'm in to research it, figure it out, and give you an educated opinion on it. But I think we're going to wind this thing down to YouTube. It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. We're going to dip like a potato chip, and I will catch you another time. If you are just tuning in, we're going to do this more often. I kind of dig this. Looking at current events, giving you my thoughts on it, taking a look at some of the things that you can do to implement that, and we'll get out of here. Adios.